All right, we're back on Titan Reforge, and today I'm showing you my best gold farm. And on Titan Reforge, they've done a lot of nerfs to instance gold farming. Like, most of the mobs in the instances don't even drop anything whatsoever. At first, they didn't drop any coin, then they just stopped dropping basically everything. So it's really hard to farm gold in instances. Just made farming kind of difficult, but one thing we still can do in instances is we can do mining, and that's what I'm going to do out here in Mana Tombs. So I'm on my rogue. You don't have to be a rogue, but other classes are just going to go a little slower because they might have to kill some trash mobs and the rogue can stealth past them. We're going to do mining in the Mana Tombs. We're going to knock out 5 runs of Mana Tombs. That'll only take like less than 20 minutes, and then I'm going to go play on my Death Knight, do some leveling up on the Death Knight, and we'll switch back and forth between Mana Tombs and Death Knight leveling, and that's the plan. My rogue here is Night Slayer cover, Pendant of Outcast hero, Custodians. We got Paper Cutter, Stalactite, Drake mounted crossbow, Hemorrhaging Circle, Night Slayers. So 3 pieces of Night Slayer. You really don't need this level of gear to be able to do this farm. This is the gear I've got, and I've been doing this farm for a while, well before I had this gear. But let me show you. Let's go in. Let's do the first run. The main thing you're looking for here is you have 2 adamantite nodes that are going to spawn in every dungeon. And then you're also going to kill the second boss and the... Oh, shoot. Usually I can get past that guy without him aggroing. That's fine. We'll do a little vanish. And the second boss, you'll kill him, and you can do mining on his corpse, and he's like better than a rich adamantite node. He drops adamantite, and he drops lesser planar essences, and he drops uncommon quality uncut gems that jewel crafters will buy to help level their jewel crafting. So this has really been my #1 source of gold, is mining here. And like, I don't want to drop mining on this character until I find some other good source of gold. Because, you know, having gold's important. Having gold to buy your enchants, your gems, your consumables, all that kind of stuff, it's important. So as soon as I find some other way to make a good amount of gold, I'll drop mining on this character and pick up a different profession that gives me some kind of combat benefit, more DPS or something. Probably engineering. I've got tailoring on him already. So here's the first boss, Tavarok. And we're just going to knock him down pretty quick here. Sometimes does Earthquake that stuns you, and other times will do like Crystal Prison or something. I usually just eat the Earthquake and then use my human racial Will to Survive to get rid of the Crystal Prison, because it's a way nastier ability. So look at that. 7 adamantite ore, 3 lesser planar essence, and 2 uncommon quality gems. It's a huge amount of gold there. Here's my first mining node, adamantite deposit. This section, I'm not even stealthing through it. I'm going to wait for those guys. If I mine this right now, they're close enough that they'll aggro. What would you estimate your gold per hour is? I mean, I do the runs in, you know, less than 20 minutes, and then I go do something else. So if you want the, like, maximum gold per hour, like gold per 5 runs is probably like 175-ish. Adamantite used to be about 4 gold each, and at that time this was about 225 gold for 5 runs. But now it's about 3 gold per bar. So took a big hit to the gold you generate from adamantite because the market moved down a little bit. What's the quickest way to level on Titan? You pretty much want to do your dungeon finders, just random dungeon finder queues. And then between the dungeon finder queues, you want to be questing. So, like, find a nice zone you can quest in, you know, do some quests, dungeon finder. You'll probably out-level most of the quests, then move to another zone. Keep dungeon findering while doing some quests in between. Especially when you get into the upper levels, like level 70 and above, and you get into Northrend, you really, really want to be questing. Questing at that level range might actually just be faster than even doing the dungeons. So we didn't get, like, the super good opener here, because I aggroed these mobs at the start that I was hoping I wouldn't. So we had to move in stealth for a little more time than I thought we would. This is coming out just under 4 minutes. We can go a little faster, though. Right out. Reset. And back in we go. So I started with 1 adamantite ore, 1 corium, and 1 eternium in my inventory from before that I hadn't smelted. We're just gathering up stuff. Let's see, can I do it right this time? Yes. I'm literally jumping over their aggro radius. It's kind of awkward. Jump, jump. No, okay, yeah, we didn't aggro anything, but I did kind of bonk a little bit there. There, stealth. Distract that guy. Go here, and we're clear to unstealth. Walk all the way to Tavarok. I've been stealthing through this like a chump, says Stinkfist. Yeah, I was stealthing through most of it before also. But as I did more and more runs, I just started to figure out that I don't actually need to be in stealth for most of it, and I could make the run a lot faster by not being in stealth. Good. 7 adamantite ore, that's about 1.5 gold each. Planar essences, 1.2 gold each. We just got 5 of them. Flame spessarite, 1.5 to 2 gold, depending on the market. There we go. First adamantite node. That's a low roll. This is the minimum we could possibly get. No motive earth either. No gem, just 2 adamantite. That's unlucky. It's an unlucky situation. As soon as we pass this pack, we can unstealth for the rest of the way. Perfect. Then the second node is always in the Nexus Prince Shafar room. It's either here, there, or it's right over there. And when it spawns over there, you have to kill this 4-pack of mobs. But for the first 2, you don't have this one you never have to worry about. The one that's right there, you sometimes have to worry about that 2-pack patrol. They can sometimes be close enough that they'll aggro. And then my sprint and my nitro boost, they come off cooldown like right before I finish the run, but I always save them to use at the same part of the run. Because when I'm sprinting, it makes it easier for me to jump over the mob's aggro radius and pass them without having to stealth or vanish. So I just like that for consistency, always having stealth at the same point during the run. This one, you don't need to jump. They're far enough apart. What is your favorite expansion / version of WoW? I think of the, of the ones I've played since Classic came out, Vanilla, TBC, Wrath, and then Season of Discovery. I think Season of Discovery is easily the best. And then I would rank it Wrath of the Lich King, then Vanilla, then TBC being the worst. TBC the worst because my favorite class is Rogue, and Rogue is honestly just incredibly bad in raiding in TBC. I know they're very good in PvP, but I'm just not a PvP guy. And it's just, it just sucks when your favorite class is just dog tier in an expansion. Actually, if I saved the nitro for this section, I could jump over them without having to stealth. You can actually get past those guys without having to stealth too, but I'm not very consistent at it yet. Do you think that the rogue changes mean that Paper Cutter is no longer pre-raid BIS? Yes, I believe at pre-raid you want Flesh Shaper plus Broken Stalactite as your 2 daggers, double slow. So some changes got announced today for the Titan Reforge servers, specifically where they basically took away a lot of the benefits of faster weapons for rogues. Faster weapons had a big benefit of, like, you know, more attacks meant more poison triggers and more focused attack triggers. And they made it so focus attacks, energy generation, generates more energy per trigger when you use a slower weapon. So it kind of equalized it across different weapon speeds. And then they also made a change to deadly poison. Deadly poison is kind of complicated. It's one that stacks up on the target up to 5 stacks. And then once it's at 5 stacks, if it triggers again... Hang on. Got a stealth here. If it triggers again, it'll refresh deadly poison, but it'll also automatically trigger the poison that's in your other weapon, which is usually an instant poison. And deadly poison is a fixed percentage chance to trigger. So it means that if you just use a faster weapon, you're going to get more deadly poison triggers, which means you're going to get more triggers of your other weapon's poison. That's how it used to work. That's how it still works. However, they made a change that said, when you trigger instant poison from a deadly poison, the instant poison deals more damage when the deadly poison weapon is slower weapon speed. So you're still going to get more triggers with a faster weapon, but now if you use a slower weapon, the triggers that you do get are worth more damage. So they kind of just, like, backed off from 2 different benefits that really strongly incentivized fast weapons for rogues. So previously, the meta was to use 2 fast weapons if they were the same item level, and use a fast weapon main hand and a slow weapon offhand if you could get a slower weapon that was higher item level than the fast weapon. That's like the quick and dirty, like there's some exceptions to that rule, but that was generally the rule. Now, with these changes, the new meta is basically the opposite. You use double slow weapon if they're the same item level, and you use slow weapon main hand, fast weapon offhand if you can find a fast weapon that's higher item level than the highest item level, like, slow weapon you could use. The Prebis and Bis for Rogue and Titan Reforged, do you already have a guide? Well, I can give you a table really quickly. This is the quick and dirty table of main hand weapon, offhand weapon, damage estimate. So pre-raid, you're looking at Flesh Shaper plus Broken Stalactite as your best combination. And then within raid, you're looking at Perditions plus Corehound being just very, very slightly ahead of Perditions plus Broken Stalactite. Basically, slow weapons got buffed while fast weapons remain the same. Yes, Tizen. Yeah, that's about right. All right, let's go for the Giga this time. No stealth all the way to Tavarak, if I can do it right. What did they change to buff it? We literally just talked about all that. Did you miss it, Swan Song? You can do exclamation point changes, and you can read about the details on the Discord. Jump there. Jump there. Yes! There we go. We did it. We did it. No stealth all the way to Tavarak. We passed them by jumping over their aggro ranges. The defect fan of knives? Not really, no. The focus attacks change was only changing focus attack triggers that come from auto attacks. So all the focus attack triggers, regardless of your weapon speed, that come from abilities are still just doing 2 energy. Distract those guys so I can run through here without having to enter stealth. Where are you guys going? They're going to be far enough away by the time I get to this thing. Yep, mine it without aggro. Yes, they also did a change to combat potency, but I'm not playing combat right now, so I wasn't too worried about that one. And from my, like, initial glance, it's like, yeah, combat does more damage than it did before. Like, it's a buff, but I don't think it meaningfully changes the weapon dynamics of, like, which weapons you want to choose. They basically just made combat potency give you more energy. You know, as far as I could tell, for combat, you still want slow main hand, fast offhand in most circumstances. Gutgore is good now? No, Gutgore is still bad because it has no secondary stats. Gutgore Ripper, I mean, that, like, Mutilate doesn't really care about its weapon DPS that much. It cares about the speeds and it cares about the secondary stats. That's mostly what you're looking for in a weapon. Gutgore has actually no secondary stats. Perfect exit. Yeah, Teasen says the sword and axe specialty is worked on per hit, so also need buff it if used Thunder Fury. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the hack and slash talent is unchanged and still prefers the, you know, fast offhand, you know, slow main hand configuration. Jump. No! Fuck. Vanish. If I don't vanish early, they start charging me and stunning me. That was unlucky. A little fucked on this run. Can't go super fast. Burned Vanish already. But unstealth here. Maybe this is too early of an unstealth. I don't want to have to stop moving. I will hesitate for just a moment. Then we can stealth there. Stealth, okay. I don't know why I rocket booted there. If I was going to stealth anyways, I didn't really need to rocket boot. But I usually rocket boot that section, so I just did it without thinking, I guess. Is there a Titan Reforge item database? I'm banned in Google, sorry. I don't know. I installed Atlas Loot so I could look at items. There's a Atlas Loot Titan Reforged version. So I was just like, yeah, there's no Chinese Wowhead that I know of. Maybe it exists, but I don't know of it. So I'm just going to solve this problem by installing Atlas Loot. How do you get banned from Google? I think he's just saying that so I don't tell him to Google it. That would be my guess. You know, kind of as a joke. Is gold per hour in here? It depends on the market. How much? Mainly, the main value is coming from adamantites. So I'm looking at, you know, maybe about 175 per 5 runs. And then it just kind of depends how you want to count per hour. Do you want 5 runs to be 1 hour, even though you're doing nothing for 40 minutes? Or do you want to say, you know, you only spent 20 minutes farming, so multiply by 3 to get a per hour rate? I mean, mostly what I do is I do 5 runs of this, I get locked out, then I log into a different character and play it for a little bit. And then that keeps it very, very, very efficient.
What is this? Oh, you must forgive me, but I was not expecting company. As you can see,
Gold per 20 minutes? Yeah. I mean, that's how, as long as I'm doing something with my other 40 minutes of every hour, then yeah, I feel like it's fair to assess it at the, like, gold per 20 minutes and not count 40 minutes of downtime, as long as I have some other activity to do. And then it looks very, very impressive. right, do we have one more run, or was that all of them? Mana Tombs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 5 runs. Okay, so let's just quick review what we got out of 5 runs. I started with 1 Adamantite, 1 Eternium, 1 Corium in my inventory. So this is 60 Adamantite. I think that's a little bit of a low roll. 6 Eternium, 3 Corium ores, 15 Mote of Earth. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I have any purple? 9 uncommon gems. A rare gem. 12, 20. Lesser Planner Essence. I'll convert them to graders. Pretty good value there. So, yeah, let's go to the Death Knight. We'll do a couple of dungeons. We'll be back in 44 minutes or something to do more Mana Tombs. And then the vendor value of this stuff is pretty low. It used to be rather high, but this is one of the many nerfs they did to dungeon farming, was to greatly reduce the vendor value of all boss drops. Like, this thing used to vendor for 9 gold like a week ago. Now it vendors for 55 silver. Unlucky. Alright, Death Knight time. So, Death Knight, I've been working on it. We've been tanking while we're leveling up, just because it gives us way faster dungeon queues. And the plan is to go Frost at max level, because I like doing Frost DPS. And I think it's actually kind of hard to get raid spots as a tank and easier to get raid spots as a damage dealer. Like, most pug groups already have their, like, tank situation figured out with, like, trusted tanks. So, like, they wouldn't be pugging tanks. So, we bought a bunch of this cobalt stuff, which is crafted. You know, the most expensive pieces were 15 gold each, and most of them were below 10 gold each. So, cobalt was doing really good for us. We got Ingvar's Monolithic Cleaver, Sigil of the Dark Rider. That's still from the starting zone. The Cloak is also from the starting zone. This is from the starting zone. We're looking to replace all the starting zone stuff with some actual good stuff. So, random Lich King dungeon, Titanic Embers. We also have the server resetting, like going down for weekly maintenance, doing their weekly raid reset in a few hours. And I would like to max out my Titanic Embers before that happens. This is like the stand-in for Badge of Justice. Almost everything you used to be able to buy with Badge of Justice or Emblem of Justice, you can now buy with Titanic Embers. It's just like the replacement currency. And the way this one works is each week you are allowed to get 20 of them in that week. If you don't get 20 in a week, too bad. Next week you still can only gain 20 more. So it's, if you want to get all the gear you can from Titanic Embers, it's important, you want to max it out at 20 per week each week. And don't miss out on them. Michael TTTB says, enchanting bad for gold, ? I don't know. I don't have an enchanter on this server. I started out with my rogue with skinning and mining. I just picked double gathering. I was like, I'll figure it out later what crafting professions I want to have. But double gathering to help me get resources and get gold, because I was starting fresh on this server. Level 1, nothing in my bags type of situation. So I was just like skinning, mining, boom. Didn't think about it. Now it's like mining's making me a lot of gold, I found out, and we'll go from there. Okay, Frost Presence. Everyone's here. Hello? Alright, this is the Icy Touch Machine. 1, 2, Plague Strike, Heart Strike, Heart Strike. We got a nice little Utgarde keep here. Icy Touch is really big threat generator. Another thing that's changing with when the server goes down for maintenance, they're applying some buffs to Blood Death Knight, basically making Blood Boil be a really good AoE threat generator. which sounds super good to me. Right now, my main threat skills are Death and Decay for AoE and Icy Touch for a single target. And it's like, Death and Decay is a 30-second cooldown. I really don't have that available all the time. So turning Blood Boil into a good like AoE threat ability, that'll be much appreciated. Whoopsies, did not mean to open that. There we go. Next. One, two. Little Heart Strike. Rune Strike. Death Strike, maybe? Oh, I'm stunned. Never mind. Mob stunning me. There we go. Why the fuck are they making changes on this server while we get nothing? Don't even have TBC release date? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would just, you know... A few months back, there was an interview with Ian Azjol'Nerub, you know, the game director for World of Warcraft. And in that interview, he said, Retail, Mists of Pandaria, and Titan Reforge will be our team's main focus for the next year. And I heard that, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta be playing one of those things, because other things aren't gonna get attention. And it seems like they're following through on that. You know, devoting minimal resources to every other, you know, iteration of the game. It's like, they told you they were gonna screw you. You should have listened when they told you they were gonna screw you. You know, if you were someone who's interested in versions that weren't those. You might interpret that as getting screwed. Alright, where's my healer? Oh, healer's up. Bored of Mop pretty fast. Yeah, I'd say my interest in Mop is dying down. I want to do at least one, like, full clear Throne of Thunder to, like, check that out. So I'm sticking with it until then, but I think after one, like, full clear, I'll probably stop playing Mists. But, you know, maybe not. We'll see. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Alright, make sure the dragon faces away from the rest of the team. How are the scaled raids? Just big health sponges or new mechanics? No new mechanics I could see in Molten Core. And personally, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I want to log into a raid, I want to blast, I want to chill. I don't want it to be a super serious, like, hard experience. Collecting loot is fun and exciting, so I'm all about this. You know, some people are, you know, upset that, oh, there isn't any new mechanics, oh, it's not hard, oh, it's too easy. It's like, yeah, I don't mind that. All that is not an issue to me. Grab that guy with a quick taunt. Once I've got threat established, then I start thinking about casting Death Strikes to heal myself. But Death Strike isn't a super great, like, threat generator as far as I know. So first I gotta make sure all the mobs are on me. Then I can be, you know, Death Striking and doing more survival things. What is the culture of whining on this server? I have no idea. I'm not really in tune with the like Chinese social media where most people would be whining, I would guess. I don't know. Alright, skeletons coming through. Got him. Gotta re-up these diseases. Tried to do some range attack at that ice block, but I was out of range. There we go. Dragon Stalker's Gauntlets. Go. Alright, these things are all dead. I wonder what professions I should go on this guy. This guy, you know, I started him out at level 55, as Death Knights do. Haven't really leveled any professions. Professions are probably just going to be a gold sink to level up. Oh shit, the ghoul's coming through. Okay. No problem. We should be able to skip the pack on the left. Gonna wait for some runes to come back. There. 1, 2, 3. Do Icebound Fortitude. Anti-magic shell. A little bit of self-healing. Did a rune tap and a death strike. It's a big mob pull. There's a patrol plus a stationary pack here. So there's a bit of a spike. Healer mana's at like a quarter. They might need to drink before I do the next pull. Do you have a high ping to the server? I've got about 207 right now. Which, you know, it's not the like 40 or 50 I would have on North American servers, but this is a game with a 1 second global cooldown. If I have 1/5 of a second latency, that's pretty okay. It's like not really an issue. DK changes go live already? No, it should be with the server reset. So, like, in a few hours. I spent too many runes on that guy. Alright, we do all the bosses. What I found is usually the meta in the looking for group dungeons is to skip every skippable boss. Like, most groups I went on my rogue, they would have just completely walked past this boss without killing it. And the idea is you're trying to min-max experience per hour, and the big experience gain is from completing the dungeon, and you get a bonus at the end. So they just skip absolutely everything that's not, like, directly related to completing the dungeon. Which I find to be lame, especially in, like, a dungeon like Utgarde Keep, which is, like, the first northern dungeon you can do. Like, people need the gear, you know? Armblade, do we have an enhance? No, he's elemental. Okay, so no one actually needs this item. But in general, people need the gear, so I like killing the bosses. And since I'm the tank in this circumstance, I get to choose. If I say we kill the boss, we kill the boss. When I was just leveling my rogue and I was just one of 3 damage dealers, if the tank walked past the boss, we weren't killing that boss. You know? My healer is not with me yet, so I want to wait just a little bit. Stinkfist says you realize your booster got switched to retail WoW instead of classic. I don't know. I always just click the same icon on the booster. You know, maybe mine got switched too and I didn't realize it. I'll have to look in more detail. Hang on. It's the end of the music track. StarCraft OST. Let's go Pokemon Red and Blue music. That's some good music. Alright, I was a little distracted. Hang on. Wrong thing. Now we're good. Nothing a quick taunt can't solve. Good. Death and Decay here. Icy Touch. Plague Strike. Red Disease with Pestilence. Too slow on that spell interrupt, dang. Alright, they're dead. Last boss. One, two, three, four. Healers all the way and back. Healer's the only important person that I worry about, like, where's their position, what's their mana pool. The DPS can all get fucked as far as I'm concerned. I do not care where they are, if they have mana. If the healer has mana and is in position, I'm pulling the boss. That's what matters. Just tank this smash, it doesn't do much. He's dead. Now we have to wait through the, like, 60-second RP of, the Valkyr coming to resurrect him as a Lich King zombie dude. Who cares about healer mana when you got Death Strike? Well, the thing is, like, I can heal myself if I spend all my runes on healing myself. But I also need to spend runes on things that generate threat to make sure I'm holding threat. And they're different abilities. So, like, I can heal myself or I can generate threat on everything. I usually cannot do both. Icebound Fortitude for the Dark Smash. Barely deals any damage to me. Oh, shit. Swirling Blade thing. Alright, what do we have here? Frostweave Cloth, let's go. Holistic Patchwork Breeches, Leather Caster Gear. Okay, greed roll that. Say 88, that means bye-bye. It's like Chinese internet slang. Leave instance group. Perfect. Good run, flawless, no one died. We got a bunch of experience, that was good. Let's queue up for another one. What are we at for our instance timer? 26 minutes on Mana Tombs. For the next one to be available. So we could probably do at least one, maybe two more dungeons on this guy. Then we'll do another round of Mana Tombs. So with this version of Death Knight, the presence you're in kind of determines what you're doing. And you can reasonably tank or DPS in any of the builds. Like, some of the talent builds are a little better for DPS or a little better for tanking, but you can reasonably do either in any of the talent builds. But for tanking, you have to be in Frost Presence, and for damage dealing, you have to be in Blood Presence, and then sometimes Unholy Presence for damage dealing, but usually you're just Blood Presence. Like, the presence determine your role more than the talents, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I have one unspent. What do we want to get? I think we were going towards Yeah, we're going towards Epidemic over here in Unholy, so we get 1 point there. This is increased disease duration, so I won't have to refresh them as often. And then we're Deep Blood, 57 talent points in Blood right now, which will probably change to even more talent points in Blood later, because some of the buffs that are coming through really make Blood stronger. Alright, let me see if I can adjust the music. It's a little quiet. You know, you should be hearing Pokemon music in the background. That better volume? Should be quiet, you know, good background level, but audible. How are we doing? Dungeon queue. Estimated time 1 minute, but I've been in queue for 2.5 minutes. Yikes. Healers are really the instant queue class. You know, healers have the shortest queues, then tanks, and then damage dealers have like 10-minute queues. How long have you played WoW? I first played WoW in 2004 when it came out. And then I played that up through like Wrath of the Lich King. And then I basically quit until Classic came out. I did play like, I did re-up for a little bit of time during Cataclysm, and then realized like, yeah, this ain't for me, bro. Yep. So a long time. And then before 2019 Classic came out, the only private server I played on was Nostalrius. And I thought that was pretty lit, you know. Nostalrius, as far as I'm aware, is like one of the only good private servers that didn't have a cash shop. And they also were not trying to make any custom fun server changes. You know, all the private servers that are around today, as far as I know, have cash shops. Which I think is very bad. Oh yeah, I'm in Blood Presence. I gotta be in Frost. I think, like, private servers are obviously stealing Blizzard's property, their assets, their IP, their game code, whatever. They don't own it. It's not right for private servers to steal that, take that, and produce a game off of it. In the case of Nostalrius, they didn't have a cash shop. As far as I could tell, they were not trying to make any money off of it. Hang on. And that gives them, in my view, a little bit more of a leg to stand on. And when Blizzard asked them to shut down, they just shut down, like, you know, basically immediately. Whereas the private servers that are around today, they are trying to make money off of it. And I imagine they're making a lot of money. I mean, because some of them are even sponsoring streamers and making advertisements. And it's like, you don't spend money on advertisements if you're not making a lot of money, you know? So, taking it a step farther with the private servers of today that are, you know, like all private servers, they're stealing Blizzard's content. But they're also then, trying to make money off of it. That makes it extra bad, in my opinion. Alright, we go out here. Cut through the middle, hopefully. They pull side packs, it's going to be an issue. I'm not going to be in position to pick them up. I think we're okay. Perfect. Mr. Graffiti, hello. How's it going? Welcome. Doing a mix of Death Knight leveling and gold farming today. When our Mana Tombs timers reset, we'll pop back over to the Rogue. Do more Mana Tombs mining. Alright, can we go around the corner without aggroing those things? Hopefully, yes. This thing could fear and send us into... Uh-oh, that's a knockback. Oh, they didn't aggro, though. Okay. I saw one person get kind of close to them from the knockback. Go up. A lot of patrols in here, and as a tank, I got to be very aware of where the patrols are and where my group is, because sometimes people that are, like, straggling behind might aggro a patrol, and I've got to be able to, like, pick it up, or, like, at least be aware of it and try to pick it up and do something about it if that does happen. Yikes. Gresham says, I played with you on Nost in Idiocracy. I remember that, guild. I remember that. Hell yeah, Gresham. That was a long, long time ago. Oops. Target him, pull him into the Death and Decay, interrupt his spell, do a little Blood Boil. Yikes. Big knockback. Spread disease off of that guy. Immobilized. Click the orb. And we're good. Okay, no problems here. Solid Phantom Knives farm in the Cathedral next to ICC where you pull 30 mobs at once. Yeah, there was, Cogbolt, and we actually just got my rogue geared enough to do it yesterday, only to find out that it's extremely nerfed on this version and the mobs don't drop anything. I bought a Dark Moon card Greatness for 2.8 thousand gold. It was a marginal single target DPS increase compared to what I already had, but I bought it because it gave me enough dodge chance to be able to achieve that farm. I would not have bought it if I knew that farm was nerfed. Alright, waiting for everyone to catch up. Killer's lagging behind just a little. Man, these guys are kind of high level. Level 75. It's a bit tough for me to hit them with spells. They have a pretty high resist rate. I'm able to handle it and hold aggro, but I do get a fair number of, like, misses, resists, parries, that kind of stuff. That's tough because you gotta buy another one for Frost Decay. Well, I think I'm gonna hold off on a lot more of the profession leveling and certainly Nobles deck buying until the price comes down significantly. You know, I got it for my main, but I think the ults, like, I'm gonna wait on them to level up professions and buy expensive things like Noble's deck. You know, on this server, almost every pug group is a GDKP group. So having a fair, you know, you know, a good cushion of gold that I can spend, you know, if I want to in a GDKP group is a good thing to have. You know, I don't want to spend down to nothing. Where is everyone? Alright, we are going to do a different boss, and I need to link them the items so they understand this is why we're going to go do this boss that normally gets skipped. So normally you would skip the boss up here, and you would just go to the last boss. But today, we are killing it because it drops a good item for me. And, like I said before, I'm the tank, so I decide. Are they going to kick me over trying to do that? They're not going. Hang on. Alright, let's get the translation software going. Google Translate. Let's see, what are they saying? We might be about to get vote kicked. Don't hit that. And the next one says, where to? One guy is dead? What did he die to? What are they doing? They really didn't want to kill this boss. This is actually the first time I've seen a group, like, basically refuse to kill a boss. We'll see how we can work this out. They're dead. Druid should be able to resurrect. See if I can translate any more of this text. This says his needs. This says he has needs. SM. Can you get up? The healer left? Ink marks are very ... Sometimes the translations don't make sense. You guys should form a team with a healer. The healer left instead of killing that boss. That's an interesting choice, if you ask me. Yeah, that wasn't a vote kick on the healer. I mean, sometimes you know, vote kicks aren't that uncommon here. Like, kicking over, like, you know, whatever. But that wasn't a vote kick. The healer just left. Straight up. Ooh, I don't have Icy Touch. Do a blood tap to get an Icy Touch to be available. Alright, air phase. Looking for the supplicant. Volunteer, it's called. Okay, whatever. Destroyed. Boss coming back down. Icy Touch spam for big threat. Put a Mark for Blood up, so whenever the boss hits me, I heal. Great for hard-hitting or especially fast-hitting bosses. Alright, what do we get? Unfortunately, not the correct thing. Agility, stamina, crit attack power. If the rogue needs it, yeah, okay, one of the agility guys needed it, so I'm gonna pass. It may be a good thing for me, kind of, but, like, I think it's super cringe when strength classes take agility items, even, like, over agility classes. So, you know, I'm gonna set a good example and be like, yeah, that's an upgrade for me, but, you know, I'm not gonna get it because there's actual agility classes here that want it. What's your racial give you? Danielos. Some of the Alliance races got new racial bonuses in this version. Humans get one called Lionheart. 3-minute cooldown, 15-second duration, plus 15% critical strike chance. Let's see, what is this? Hang on. Do they need the quest? Task. Yeah, task means quest. So, one of the quests here is to kill 3 of these forgotten ones. Ooh, taunt resisted. Fuck. Yeah, I was not trying to pull 3 of them. I pulled 1. Let me see if I can translate. Only 1 at a time. Yeah, that did not work. I'm you know, technically high enough level to queue into this dungeon, but a lot of the mobs are higher level. Same shit, different toilet. Honestly, I wasn't trying to go pull the other ones, but I also didn't pull the first one, like, far away from the patrol route, so the other ones might have patrolled into me anyways. However, I did see the Moonkin go, like, run out to Moonfire and pull an additional one. Alright, through the middle here, so we don't aggro the left or the right. Which realm do you play? You can always find that out by doing ! server. It tells you all the servers I play on. Yeah, quite a long run back for this one. It's rough. Dying that deep in the dungeon. Definitely not worth trying to pull 3 of them at once. You know, maybe if I was like level 74, 75, I would have been totally fine there. But, you know, we're not there yet. Four minutes left on my Mana Tombs lockout. Let's see. The paladin walked in, so they can't be resurrected by the druid. Is this first-person gaming? No. This is third-person, because you could see the character on the screen. Right? If it was first-person, it would be like this. Checking out the druid, rogue, hunter. WoW token available on this version? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, there's no way I'm pulling that thing before the paladin gets back. There's like maybe if I pop all my cooldowns and everyone else DPSs it really fast, maybe I could live it, but why? Why bother? Just let the paladin get here, then we kill it easily, you know? Who are the better players on average so far? Look. Everyone sucks at this game. Everyone sucks at this game. That's what I would say to that. I mean, I go on Anniversary Realms, we have Nax Ramus groups, you know, not clearing, failing polarity mechanic. We go here, we've got Wailing Caverns groups not understanding the escort and disbanding without finishing the dungeon because they don't know how the escort works. You know, everyone's bad at this game. And it's okay. Yeah, when you're low-level dungeon queuing, you really do not want to get Wailing Caverns. Because, in my experience, about half the groups I was in didn't understand that you needed to kill all of the Fang Lord bosses before you could do the escort. So they would like skip some of the Fang Lord bosses, then they would get to the end, try to start the escort, and it wouldn't start because they hadn't killed all the dudes. And then they'd be confused and they'd disband. And you wouldn't get dungeon completion credit for like your random dungeon queue because the dungeon completion credit happened when you killed the Murloc boss at the end of the escort. So you needed to do the escort to get the dungeon completion credit. There we go. Alright, healer mana, hunter's drinking, healer's good. I think we can go in on this. Interrupt that. Icy touch, icy touch. Alright, it's madness time. This ability is so annoying. All these stupid illusions of each other that you have to defeat. Oh, I just got trucked there. I didn't interrupt his mind flay. And I should have. There we go. Interrupt that one. Oh my god, this thing just got cleansed. No, the hunter jumped away. What a bitch. God, they're annoying to kill. Cleansing my diseases, disengaging away from melee range. Give me a break. Oh, what do we got? Volage, Sabatons, Strength, Hit, Haste. Okay, there's no other users for this item. Yeah, I'll need roll that. Hell yeah. Okay, can't even equip it yet, but whatever. What are we at currency-wise? 18 Titanic Embers. Leave instance group. I think we're good to go back and do more Mana Tombs. But I'm also not 100% on exactly when the server is shutting down for the maintenance. I think we'll be able to do a round of Mana Tombs, then 2 more dungeons, and be good before the server shuts down. So we could still cap up our Titanic Embers. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the Rogue, and I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, then we'll run 5 more Mana Tombs, then 2 more dungeons on the Death Knight, and see where we're at. 2 or 3, or however many, however long it takes, you know. I'll be right back. Okay. Ready for some more Mana Tombs? I'm ready for some more Mana Tombs. Some big money. Fast stealth runs. Make sure we're reset on all the dungeons. Yeah, plenty of time on the lockout. Let's go. Jump. Good. No aggro. Then we can make it through these guys too with a nice jump. And we'll save the rocket boots to go through the next pack, hopefully. This one I'm less practiced at. Good. Good. Nice. There we go. No stealth all the way to Tavarok there. Perfect. That's how we want to do it. That's like the ideal opener. Opening route without getting combat at all. Knock this guy down. We got our first mining node on the mini-map. It is a regular adamantite. Unlucky. Actually, it'd be even more unlucky if it was corium. Corium's actually pretty low value. You want to see rich adamantite, then regular adamantite, then corium. Is your preference order for the 3 possible types you can get. Making sure the patrol was far enough away that mining wouldn't cause them to aggro. So just a little delay there. Here, we're going to stealth through this room and the next room. And then unstealth when we get to the staircase. Tightly says, I'm moving and going to live in an internet cafe just to play more Titan Reforge. Well, Captain Stabs, you don't need to have Chinese citizenship to be able to play this version of the game. The guide for access is right there. You don't need to have Chinese citizenship. You can get it set up without going that far.
What is this? You must forgive
I don't think we got this node at all last time. This is one where you have to kill this pack of mobs.
But no matter, as I am a gracious
Poke off the immolate. Use any sort of VPN. I use something called Gear Up, which is developed by NetEase. I don't think it's technically a VPN. I think I've heard it described as a tunneling service or a booster service. For me, it doesn't change my latency very much. It's usually like a slight reduction compared to not using it, but it pretty much eliminates any kind of lag spike. Like, without using it, I'd mostly be at about 200 ms, but sometimes it would spike up and be higher, which is frustrating. Now that I use it, I've, maybe an average reduction of a little bit of latency, but mostly there's just no more lag spikes. No chests kind of stink. Yeah, Captain Stabs, when I first started doing these mana tombs, I was looking around for all the chest spawns until I eventually gave up because I realized the chests are gone. There are not any chests anymore. You get a sponsorship with Gear Up. Yeah, I looked into that and then I was like, I don't really want to set this up. Oh shit. I jumped and then sprinted instead of sprinting and then jumping. Oh, now I'm stunned. We gotta vanish here. Alright. Brick. Jiger says, Fellstriker acquired. Are you doing that on Titan Reforge, or where'd you just get a Fellstriker? 51 runs. Damn. Nice. Congratulations. That's good. I mean, that's like spot on average for a 2% drop. This character, I got really, really lucky. This character, I got it in 7 runs. Stunned. What is this, the 5th Fellstriker? Yes. I farmed 1 on the Wrath of Lich King Classic Public Test Realm. And then I farmed 1 on each of my 3 rogues during Wrath of Lich King Classic. And then I farmed another one on this character. This is my 5th Fellstriker. And, we might be making a 2nd rogue on this server, and then, need to acquire a 6th one. Sod 1, 2. Oh, I did get 1 in Sod, but, I couldn't solo farm it, and I wasn't really, going out of my way to acquire a Fell Striker on Sod. It was just like, I was running UBRS, and it's like, man, if a Fell Striker happens, then it happens. So, I don't really count that one. But yes, one of my rogues in Sod did get a Fell Striker. They far enough? Nope, they're not far enough away. Like, when it's something that's that rare, like Fell Striker, if you can't solo farm it, it becomes a real chore to get groups for that content over and over and over again, you know?
What is this?
You need to form a whole UBRS group, organize it, wait for people to get there, like, do the run, like, then you gotta do Solikar Flame Wreath because the priest wanted their shoulders, and you gotta do the beast because the caster wanted a chance at the ace of beasts, and then, you know, this and that, like, you gotta appease everyone who has their own goals. Just, oh, it takes a lot when you can't solo the low drop chance farm. And then Warrior takes the Fell Striker? True. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes also. Let's reset. Take a little food break here, heal up. I've noticed a bunch of other people going in and out of the dungeon. I have to imagine these people are also doing mining. This guy's gear is pretty good. Not seeing any raid gear yet, though. Yeah, he looks like he's pretty much just pre-raid geared. But it's good pre-raid gear for sure. Let's see. I reset the dungeon. Let's go back in. Alright, tight lines, good jumps. No combat, please. Oh, I knew when I hit the jump I was too far to the right. Frick, dude. Alright, I think maybe I could unstealth here. Nope, now I have to wait. Without Vanish, like, it's not worth risking aggro here. So that unstealth was maybe bad. What are you farming in here? Mining. Mostly mining. Hit a lot of adamantite. Yeah, the positioning and, like, the lines you have to take to not aggro these mobs are pretty precise. You know, it's tough to get it right consistently. Alright, time to cook Tavarok. Meow says 141 Gingy. Hello, how's it going? Distract them there. Be able to walk through most of this room without stealth. No mining node yet, so it's got to be in the next room. Stealth. Yeah, there it is. Far in the corner. No mobs will be near that. I can get it without having to fight. Gingy says, pretty good. It's been a while. Hope you're well. Well, thank you, Gingy. I've been well. You know, past few months I've had some issues with Spectrum Internet, just not providing the service I'm paying for. But it seems to be better. It seems like they've done some work on the network and I'm getting a more reliable connection now. But it's quite a nightmare to deal with, and I'm glad it seems like we're getting past that. Spectrum is ass. Let me tell you what. As soon as anyone else is offering, you know, service at this address, I'm switching. But the problem is that no other companies offer a service at my address that would even be usable for streaming, like if they gave what they were advertising. So yes, there are other services. No, they aren't good enough for streaming. Technically, I don't need to stealth that one, but it's just not worth the risk, I think, to mess up the jump on the way out and then need to burn a vanish or sprint, because then it screws you up for the next run. Reset all instances, and we'll get some fresh poisons on the weapons here. Agility and strength scroll is stacking or not stacking. You don't typically use them in a raid. I'm pretty sure they do not stack with the strength of earth totems / horn of winter, like agility and strength buff you would normally get from other classes. If you're solo and you don't have access to those raid buffs, then yes, you do want scrolls, but not in a raid setting. Good, good. Perfect. 5 instance per hour limit. Yes. However, random dungeon finder dungeons do not count towards that limit. Fuck, have to vanish. Erkin, when you say it stacks with whatever, you need to make sure you're actually gaining the stats. You can have multiple buffs active on your character at the same time. It does not mean you're gaining stats from all of them. So you need to look at your character pane, gain the Horn of Winter buff, look at your strength again, use the strength scroll, look at your strength again. Playing Rogue in Burning Crusade. Probably 1 Rogue, 1 Paladin is what I'm planning on right now, but it's not like a totally locked in, concrete, can't change type of plan. It's just like, that's what I'm feeling right now. That was maybe not a good on stealth. Had to wait there. This one, I think, is a fighter. This one's a fighter. Yep. Okay, so for this one, you can either just fight all the mobs, or if you have Vanish available, you can sap the closest mob, and then you can mine it. The other mobs will still aggro to you, but you should be able to finish mining before they get to you, and then you just Vanish afterwards. But without Vanish, you know, I don't have Vanish available, so I just have to kill those guys. And you see, they don't drop anything. No grays, no coin, no nothing. Mobs in the dungeons, they ain't dropping shit. Already got the Dark Moon card? Well, it's a double Dark Moon card situation. Yeah, that's pretty much thanks to what you're seeing right here. I've done a tremendous amount of Mana Tombs mining farm to generate gold. Here we go. What do we got? That looks like a regular. Yeah, dude, we wish we got some rich adamantite nodes. The double cutters? No, it's a paper cutter, broken stalactite. And they actually made some changes recently. They made some changes that are going to be applied after the server maintenance. So they're not live now, but they're announced. That basically change how focus attacks and deadly poison work in regards to weapon speed. And the short version is they kind of removed the benefit of faster weapons. So I'm just going to go double stalactite after those changes get implemented and just ditch the paper cutter. Arnaldo says, why are you doing mana tombs? You are a rogue. Go do energy tombs. I wish, dude. Where do I go to get to energy tombs? Because, like, I haven't heard of that dungeon before. I only know about mana tombs. See, like, I'm stealing from the mages. I'm going into the mana tombs where all the mages live, and wizards and warlocks. And, like, I'm stealing from them to be able to take all the resources back to Ravenholt where the rogues live, okay? That's how I think about it. I thought that jump was good. I thought it was good. F. Do any of the MC tier bonuses help with Fan of Knivesing? Only kind of. The 2-piece bonus is... Well, actually, no. They both do, kind of. Maximum energy means you're going to be able to put out more Fan of Knives in a short burst window. And more duration of Overkill and Blade Flurry are definitely relevant. Like, if you're Blade Flurrying and Fan of Knivesing, you know, both of those are good. But those are also, like, only relevant if you're spamming Fan of Knives for more than 15 seconds, right? Blade Flurry base duration of 15 seconds is usually enough to cover most AoE situations. So, you know, if your AoE situation lasts 15 seconds or less, then that 4-piece bonus extending duration doesn't really matter. I re-enter stealth. That refreshes the duration of my overkill. What do we got over there? That's looking like a regular-sized one to me. I think the rich adamantites look a little bit different, and having done it so many times, I'm now able to tell visually regular versus rich. Is that still the case in MC, have you noticed? Asfurinos? I would say I did very well in the Molten Core. Like, very good damage output despite playing pretty badly. And I did like a 30-plus person Kha'Zix kill, and I was #1 in the whole raid. So I'm feeling like Rogue's pretty strong. And what's surprising to me is I saw some stats of, like, the players on this server. Rogue is the least played class on the whole server, which makes it pretty easy to get groups. Because people, like, they want some class diversity, and the hardest class to get is Rogue, because actually no one plays it. It's like Rogue is at the very bottom, then Warrior, then, like, all these other classes I didn't pay attention to. Rogue being least played seems pretty common outside vanilla.
What is this?
I mean, I feel like my experience, Rogue's always been pretty popular, or at least mid-tier, in terms of, you know, play rates.
But no matter, as I am a gracious...
So that's why Rogues and Warriors got buffs? I don't know. I don't know if it's motivated specifically by the play rates, or just because they thought they were underperforming, or what the deal is. Alright, how many mana tombs are we in? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th one. Okay. So when we zone out of here, we'll reset, and then it'll tell us you can't go into anymore. What are we at? Let's do a little total. So this is now 10 runs worth of goods. We still have all the goods from the previous run. Previous 5 runs, I mean. So this is 123 adamantite ore. Staying right on about 60 ore per 5 runs. We got 16 greater planner essences. We have 5, 9, 10, 13, 16 gems. And we have a bunch of vendor crap. This is here, and we have how much Mote of Earth? 41, it looks like. Not too bad. And there's a little vendor right out here, so we can dump all the vendor crap. Morning Glory Dew, Scimitar, Lightning Rod, Pauldrons. Yeah, those used to vendor for way more, and they got nerfed. Spellblade spotted? Yeah, dude, the holy duo. Spellblade plus Fellstriker. It's so good. Look, I got the weapon swap macro already. I mean, it's keybound. Swapping them back and forth. Alright, let's go a little bit more Death Knight action. Couple more Death Knight dungeons while we wait for the Mana Tombs to reset. Making good money there. 123 Adamantite at about 1.5 gold each, just off the Adamantite. 123 times 1.5, 184. We had 16 greater planners, which was, let's see, plus 16 by about 3.5 each on those. Equals 240 plus, how many gems did I say? Like 15? 15 by 1.5. Oops. 1.5-ish. 263 gold. Death Knight time. Dungeon Finder. Random Lich King Dungeon. Let's go. Maybe we can get a level off of this next dungeon, but it might take 2 dungeons before we hit 73. Rizofet says you downloaded Gear Up. Not sure if I configured it properly. You've got to launch the Gear Up thing. Let me see if I could show you mine. Yeah, you want it to look like this. You look like this, then launch your World of Warcraft game. Right? This screen needs to look like this, then launch the World of Warcraft game. If you launch World of Warcraft first, then start Gear Up, then it's not working. It's not doing it. It's set to retail. No, it's supposed to be. It says China Titan Reforge Classic supported. So I think it's on the correct version. There is a WoW Classic game. I'll look at it tomorrow. Right now, if I want to restart it, I'd have to exit WoW and reload WoW and all that. And as far as I can tell, I'm doing fine right now. But it says Titan Reforge supported, so I think that's the right one. Okay. Azjol'Nerub right here. Let's see. Is everyone here? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing one guy. Where is he? The Pit of Narjun. He's outside the instance. Huh. Okay. Well, whatever. Pretty good. Not quite grabbed threat on this skirmisher. Oh no, never mind. I did do the icy touch on him. He just drops threat sometimes and is annoying. Zarfe, hello. How's it going? Hi, Simon and chat. Well, hello, Zarfe. Okay. Healer mana is good. Let me pop this egg. Egg destroyed. Egg destroyed. Hadn't have a good day. Hope your day is good so far, says Zarfe. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. My day has been pretty good so far, I would say. I hope your day becomes better. We'll just wait for the next guys to come in. I do not want to double pull these. Again, I'm only level 72. I can't do, like, super giga pulls. Those spiders, they got knocked back there. I'm not sure what ability did that, but they had like a upside down, like, weird looking animation while they were getting knocked back. I thought it was kind of funny. Let's see. Is there anyone in this group that can skip the boss? Usually people really, really like skipping boss number 2 here. But, oh, we have Rogue. Yeah, Rogue can do it. I love killing the bosses, but I think they would actually throw a fit and kick me if I tried to kill this boss. Second boss, I mean. Not this one. Good. What do we got? Cloth. Don't have to read anything else. Immediately greed roll. Let's see if the rogue is gonna do the thing. It's pretty much on the rogue. I don't think we have anyone else who can do it. Where is the rogue? Rogue doing? Can we do it? DZ something boss. DZ means rogue. Maybe he doesn't understand. Nope, now he's going. Yeah, they want the vanish skip, that's right. Vanish, 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 vanish. Okay, that's not what was supposed to happen. Can we res him really quickly and then go? Are we just going without him? Yeah, they're not resing him. He's gonna be in trouble. Huh. That is not what was supposed to happen. It is now scuffed. Should have just killed the boss, honestly. Rogue didn't know what to do. Now the rogue's dead and out of position. And we're in a lot of trouble. Can they, like, teleport out and then teleport back? And get to our position? Because everyone else in the group is here. Wonder if that would work. See, like, in this situation, I would like to advocate for just killing the boss. But, I don't know. It seems, it's probably too hard to communicate that. Should work like in halls. Oh, if you teleport out, teleport back, you just get to the start again. Well, hopefully the rogue should be able to just, like, come back in and stealth past everything and catch up to us. Let's see if we can get some, translation. Sim? That Simon? Short for Simon? Hang on. His first message says, I heard that there are many foreigners at Times Square too. I think that's PvP server 2. Really? Question mark? Sim. Yes, I am foreigner from USA. Alright, 4 people are here, so I think we're gonna pull these mobs. I should have translated that to Chinese before posting it. I just realized that was stupid. Why did I post that in English? Uh-oh, Rogue is dazed. You don't get dazed unless you're getting hit by stuff. Rogue's not dead, though, so maybe they vanished. Hopefully they're good. Alright, we wait for Mr. Rogue. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh! Cloak, daze. Daze, daze, daze. Oh, he's effed. He's effed! No! Ay, ay, ay. How far did he get? Did he make it into the hole? Could we potentially res him? We could see if he can be rezzed. I don't know how far he made it. Let's see. They're talking to the rogue here. DZ always means rogue. Let's translate this. It says, wait by the entrance. The 4 of us should be able to take them down. Okay. Yeah, so they're not going to kick the rogue. So I don't feel bad for the rogue. He's going to get the dungeon completion. He tried to do the thing, but didn't really understand it. So yeah, we'll just do the boss. I would feel really bad if they, like, vote kicked the rogue or something, because, like, he tried to do the skip for them and just didn't really get it. Gotta wait for the healer. MS. Let's see. What was this other message? Right before I said, right after I said I was a foreigner. This says, clear out the smaller ones first. Okay. They just say go. Alright, whatever. Rogue's dead again. We can kill a Nubarak, though. Not really a problem. That's why people don't play Rogue, probably. What about that was why they don't play Rogue? Well, because they don't know about the Hadronox skip? Surely the Hadronox skip isn't the reason that people ain't playing Rogue. Yeah, I mean, the guy was trying. Like, he tried, and I respect that. He didn't, you know, he didn't do it exactly right, but, you know, he tried. Burrow again. Oh, they're saying something about the USA. I was in a Kazakh group before, and someone was messaging me, and they were like, I love the USA. I love Michael Jackson. They're apparently big Michael Jackson fan. I thought that was funny. They're like, I love MJ. And I was like, Michael Jordan? Michael Jackson? And they're like, Michael Jackson. Alright, when he does another burrow, I'll try to get a translate on this message. Good. Copied. Tabbing over to Google Translate. Little flashbang here, sorry guys. Which city are you in the USA? Yeah, I don't tell people where I'm from more specifically. Yeah, we don't share that. How do I say that? You're gonna have to translate it. Just lie. They won't know. Yeah, but then someone will clip it and be like, look at this lying ass foreigner. We translated what he was saying and he was trying to deceive us. I don't want to be known as Simonize the Deceiver. What do we got? Strength, stamina, defense. Yo, that's based. I need that. Let's see. I don't like to speak about which city I am from. I got a translated message. Good group. Good group. Have a nice day. Nice to meet you, they say. Hell yeah. Dude, we're making friends. Are they trying to maybe re-queue or something? I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to re-queue. Is now the leader of your group. Okay, that's... Oh, yeah, okay, we'll leave. Alright. The ring? What are we going to replace? Yeah, we're going to replace the ring that has 0 stamina. Obviously. That's the one we're going to replace. We did not hit the level up, so let's find another dungeon. Rajar says, would be funny if Simon would tell it to Chinese people, but not for his stream. Look, I'm just very protective of the, like, personal information. I really try to keep it to a minimum. Because, like, I see the problems that other streamers get into when that kind of information gets out. And it just causes so many problems for their life. And it's like, yeah, maybe you don't get as good of a, like, you know, interaction or connection with me when I don't share that kind of stuff. But, like, I can't have people deducing where I live. And I don't want to help anyone do that either. Roloff says, you upgrade your graphics card to watch you on full 60 FPS on my third monitor now. Hope you're doing fine. Wait. Are you streaming the King Von trial on your second monitor? Like, I'm surprised that I'm not on the first or second monitor, but now I'm trying to think, like, what would you be putting up on the first or second monitor instead of the Simonized show? My boy, King Von. King Von trial is always on the first, playing Final Fantasy XIV on the second. Alright, respect. I accept that. I accept being third monitor to those things. Rod is 2.7. Yep. Never stop moving. Xena asking about Rod of the Sun King. I think I can pull it up. Hang on, I've got a tank. Gotta actually do my job. I'll be able to pull it up in just a second, though. When I've looked at items for future phases, some of them looked like their stats were unfinished. Like it's maybe like a first draft. So really, when you look at any of the items, I would just assume that they're unfinished and, you know, high likelihood of changing before that phase actually comes out. But this, oh my god, it flipped back to here. Kael'thas, Rod of the Sun King, 171 DPS, 2.7, way better stats than the old version of it, and still has that 10 energy proc. Alright, there's a 3-mob patrol here and the 3 mobs stationary. Yeah, it's stationary. It's gonna come in here pretty soon. Shit. There we go. Got it. Trying to icy touch each of the new mobs. I got 2 of them pretty quick, and then the click onto the third was a little slow. You know how Embers is the max going up from 20? You can only acquire 20 each week. It is not a rolling cap like, say, your Valor or Conquest points in Mists of Pandaria. It's just like, if you don't collect 20 on one week, unlucky, you miss out. Each week is an individual cap of acquiring 20 new ones. But you can have, like, if you get 20 this week and you don't spend any of them, then you can spend, you know, you can get 20 more the next week, and you can have 40 sitting in your bag, I think. Gonna be a patrol. AMS. Watching for the patrol. It can come out from there. We might be able to just skip it. Yeah, here comes the patrol. Yeah, he's aggroing it. Okay. That's fine. Icy touch everything. Alright, boss time. Everyone's in. Icy touch. Icy touch. Plague strike. Spell interrupt. Plague strike. Heart strike. Dancing rune weapon. Death coil. Heart strike. Icy touch. Plague strike. Oh, I'm getting spun. This ability is so weird. And so annoying, too. Drop this on everybody. Interrupt the polymorph. Lots to do here, honestly. Hard to kind of keep track of everything, really. Oh, not again! No! Alright, what do we got? Leather, intellect. Honestly, it feels like 90% of the loot in this dungeon is caster loot. Super lame, if you ask me. You tried solo dungeon paladin leveling? Nope. I don't have a paladin on this on this server. I did do a little bit of dungeon soloing on this guy. I did some blood furnace from like 70 or 62 to like 64 or so. But ultimately it like required me to be really locked in. And then I found out that just dungeon queuing as a tank instantaneously just seemed better. So then I stopped doing that. I did like it. It was a little hard to get the hang of Blood Furnace, so there was some challenge. So then, you know, that was all right. But then I was just like, screw this. let's just do the thing that, you know, levels me up faster for less effort. Bro, how is it? Oh, it's the ghoul that ran around. Okay, I saw we had no hunters and no warlocks, so I didn't think we had any pets that would run around and aggro extra stuff. But we had the other Death Knight is unholy, so they have their ghoul is like a persistent ghoul. It functions like a pet. And that when they jumped off the platform, it chose to run around and aggro stuff. You know, annoying, but not the end of the world. Not have Death and Decay available at the start of that pull. It's a very big pull, so Death and Decay would have been very good. When it's like 2 or 3 mobs, I can pretty reliably handle it without Death and Decay. But more than that, you really gotta lean on Death and Decay to get the threat generation. You need a Storm Shroud set, by the way. You can craft the 3-piece now, says Jiger. I don't think so. Storm Shroud in regular Wrath was only used in some, like, extremely niche situations that made it good. And I'm not too concerned about hitting that here. But if I decide I want one, I will look you up, Jiger. Thank you. Plogbeelin says, you have a super important question. Debating with my friends how much XP you need to hit level 60 in Classic WoW, do you know? No, I just level up and then I'm done with leveling, and I don't really care. I'm not one of those guys who, like, cares a lot about leveling and, you know, min-maxes it to the limit. I mean, I just figure if you log in and play the game, like, you can do quests and you can do dungeons, you'll level up and then you'll be done with it, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. What's the last time you got abducted by aliens? Well, I mean, the FBI told me I wasn't supposed to tell anyone about that in my debriefing, so that's actually classified. So I can't tell you about that, Roloff. Good. Good. Go this way. Oh, never mind. Moonkin has moonfired this thing. We are now pulling it. This mob is skippable. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the big boys in here are skippable, but it's kind of tight to skip them, so it might not be, like, reasonable to expect we skip them in a pug group, you know? That's a level up. Let me get the next rank of epidemic right away. 6-second added duration to my diseases now. That's nice. Whoopsies, I hit the wrong button. Is this thing gonna aggro? Yes. Bro, it's getting moonfired. Why are we intentionally pulling extra mobs with moonfire? Frick, man. That wasn't even like someone just happened to walk by it. It got moonfired. Like, are these needed for a quest? Maybe, I don't know. Like, if they're needed for a quest, then that's totally fine. But it's like, I don't know why we're... If it's not, like, needed for a quest, I don't know why we're pulling them. What? What the... I did not mean to do that. Alright, well, we're in it now. Interrupt the tranquility. Bro, wait, it did tranquility again. I thought it would have been dead. I interrupted it once. Greaves of the Blue Flight plate. Spell power plate. Disgusting. And just did so many tranquilities. Those mobs never died. Okay, this is a teleport out, teleport in angle. Server shutdown? I don't know. Wait, are they not going out and in? What does this say? Hang on. Maybe that's important information. This says, everyone please help me cut down a big tree. This is a task. Thank you. Oh, shit. I didn't read that in time. Oh, server shut down in 10 minutes. Oh my god, we gotta complete the dungeon in 10 minutes. I think that's for the maintenance. Shut down in 11. That makes more sense why they were pulling the extra big trees. See what they say now. Going into maintenance soon. Let me see. Sorry, I did not read your request fast enough. I apologize. All right, everyone's in. Hit the crystals. Jump, jump, jump. There's just jump the entire time. Huge amount of threat. So we'll probably log into the Anniversary Realms, maybe farm Devil Sars for a minute while we wait for the server to come back up. Usually it's only like, you know, usually the scheduled maintenance time is way smaller than the actual maintenance time, you know. So I'm expecting like half an hour, maybe an hour. Band of Glittering Permafrost. Yeah, okay, he wants to go kill... Maybe we can help him here. Might be able to get to one of the big trees and kill it. It's gonna be a race, though. Can we possibly blast enough DPS? Man, these mobs, they have a lot of health. And now it's just me and this druid. The druid's doing some DPS in Moonkin. He should just do big DPS and let me, like, heal myself. Okay. Yeah, we can get this one, and then we can help him with his quest. That'll be good. Yeah, okay. This might be tough. This one's gonna hit way harder than the first mob. Ooh, I hope that patrol doesn't come back. No patrols that direction. Yeah, okay, we lived it. Do they need more? Let me see. What do they say? Oh, 5 of 5. Yeah, they're done. Let me see. It said, thank you, big brother. And this message is, that's enough. Have a good... Oh, he's gone now. Okay. I was going to say, have a good day. Nice. We were able to help him out in the end. I like that. Honestly, if I had translated his message about the big tree prior to teleporting out, I would have helped him. I just didn't, because I was just, you know, following the routine of how I always do that dungeon. You just figured, you know, nothing relevant was being said, but in fact, something relevant was definitely being said. Okay, so we, like, just barely hit our Titanic Ember cap of 20 minutes before the server shuts down for maintenance. I think that's kind of funny. Got in there. Got it done. What's our Mana Tombs lockout looking like? Auchendon, Mana Tombs. We could get one Mana Tombs run in before the maintenance is done. Let's go. We have 1 minute left on the existing lockout. We should be able to get the run, like, the resources from one run before the timer expires. We gotta wait 43 seconds. And then we gotta try to kill Tavarok and mine 2 nodes in the remaining time. This is gonna be a race. Depending on where the nodes are and how cleanly I move through the instance, I might not get all 3. I think I can definitely get Tavarok and 1 node, but 3rd node might be a stretch. All right, 8 seconds on my lockout. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. New instance available. Go in. All right, we're in. Race against the clock. Good. Hug left. Need a clean jump here. Yes. Good, good, good. Okay. Need a second clean jump on this pack. Jump. No! What's the play? I think the play is rocket boot. Oh, no, I'm stunned. Fuck. Jump. Vanish. Okay. Tried to delay the vanish for as long as I could. Okay. That wasn't too bad. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't that bad either. 2 minutes 15 till the server shuts down and I get kicked out. Alright, ready, set, enter stealth. Lionheart, Blade Flurry, Trinket activation, Cold Blood, Envenom. Evasion up to reduce damage taken. Gonna eat this stun. Only use the human racial if he does the crystallize ability, because that will straight up kill you if you sit through it. Can I get a G invite? I don't do guild invites for this guild. I don't really know what the situation is with the guild invites. It's not open to everyone. But there's another guild that is open to everyone called Guest Gamers, and my Death Knight is in that guild. This is like, I honestly don't know exactly what the deal is with it, but it's like streamer guild or something. I don't know. They're not inviting everyone to the guild that my rogue's in. Mm, 1 minute 15. Got Tavarak mined, and we've got the first node mined. So we got to go to the third room, or the final room, and there's 3 different nodes in here. If it's one of the nodes where I have to fight a pack of mobs, I might not get it. But if it's the other 2, then I should be totally fine. 45 seconds. Oh, we got a good one. We got an easy one. Don't have to fight over this. Excellent. Can I exit in time? No way, I can't exit in time. Okay, I'll just harp to Dalaran. Alright. 1 Mana Tombs run squeezed in right before the server shut down. That's good.